I've no doubt you've heard of here, Rayan Cherki. Now, this is French player, well known, did very well against Manchester United the other day. Skillful, no doubts about it at all, Bart. We're talking about a lad, as you can see there, has got 12 goals, 17 assists across Ligue 1 and the Europa League. So I think in all competitions, it's something like 30 goal contributions. So talented, zero doubts about that. We've seen him, his dribbling, his ability to go forward, almost what I'd call a FIFA type player. Plenty of skill. Liverpool linked with many, many times in the recent past. And, the other day, literally, although you wonder how much of that is just because of Lyon's situation and playing well against Manchester United. But hey ho, Rayan Cherki. We might do it when we come to FBref in a slightly different order, but the metrics for this player, Bart, I am intrigued by this one.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's probably some, maneuverings around in the media, should we say. We're very good at using the media, so does a lot of people. So, you take it with a pinch of salt, but there are links. He's done about 2,100, minutes. That's good, for the season. As you said, he's got goals and assists. He's got XG. He's got non-penalty XG. He's got XA, which is expected assists. There is a lot to like about this kid. And he's 21 as well, so that's something to think about. Just to give you exact playing time. So yeah, he's down. This season is probably his high point, and he's still got games to go. So he's played 1,822, 23. So yeah, there's a progression in his minutes, should we say, which seems to be now he's topping out probably just short of 2,000 minutes. So that's not bad. Team success when he's on the pitch this season is plus 87, plus 34 in terms of XG. So that's very good. So actually in the last 3 seasons, he's had a positive impact on the team's XG to the notion of a big chance. Yeah, it's a big chance. It's typically over 0.2 as well. So that's certainly something to be thinking. Okay, yeah, that's certainly something to thinking about. Kill rate, just because we always talk about it, not particularly high, but 33%. Okay, not too bad. If we roll up to how does he do in terms of passing? So take-ons is one of his big things that you'll see him do. Take-ons per 90. He's attempted 4.3, which is down slightly this year, to be fair. But his success rate is also down. So a little bit of a lull for him in terms of take-ons. Touches about the same, about just sort of 70 touches per game. And then we also talk about how many are in the attacking box. Yeah, he's averaging about 6. He's below that this season, about 5, where Mo's about 7-ish, but that's good for Mo to get up there. So these are good numbers. This is not something to be going, oh my God, there's a worry here. Defensive will come on to in a minute. So shot creating actions, though, I think what did you say, 30? So shot creating actions, he is averaging per 96, which again is a good number. He is, if we go up to not that passing, I'm just going to look for, so passing types. His short game has increased, so he's got about 573, whereas he's gone up by just short of 100 from last season in terms of short. Medium dropped down, but it's about 400. A long game, less so. So yeah, he's attempting per 90. He's attempting between 55 and 60 passes a game. And he has a completion rate of just short of 80. So he's playing in the front line. Typically that's, or in the 10, but that's still a fairly good percentage of passing completion, considering Mo, we typically have a standpoint of being 70 odd or something like that. So yeah, that's okay. Expected assists, XA is 0.5, actual assist 0.46. So again, that's some, as you would expect, a very creative player. If you start putting that all together, though, if I can get up to standard, and we go non-penalty XG plus expected assists, he is at per 90 0.71. Now, remember, we talk about our wide players being 0.6 or 0.55 to 0.6, typically the range we've looked at this season. So this guy is a lot better than the guys we've looked at before. I mean, substantially better, right? That's a 0.15. That's like
big,
a player's worth a game sort of thing. So that's very good, to be fair. You can't be knocking that. Yes, it's more, and again, it's more, if you look at the ratio here, so XG is 0.24 versus 0.47 in terms of expected assists. So, or expected assists, sorry. So the ratio is more curated than it is actual goals scored. So I think there's some very good signs here, should we say. If we do look at our usuals for him, we'll start at the top, all right, the good stuff. I'm going to start by saying I'm going to put him in the attacking mid wingers at the start.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think we would be looking to play him left at the front
or
three,
right,
or left or right, maybe in the 10, but just in those kind of areas rather than midfield. So non-penalty goals, 80th percentile. Okay, you know it's pretty good. 0.37 a game. Non-penalty XG, so he must take penalties because it drops. Normally, you wouldn't see that much of a drop if it wasn't. That's 0.56. Shots total, it doesn't take enough shots on, but then that's probably because he's looking to be creative. Assist, 99th percentile. Expected assisted goals, 99th percentile. Non-penalty XG and expected assists, 95th percentile. Shot created action, 6.7, 90th percentile. So that creation side of his game, you can't get much better than him in the last year. All right, that's an exceptional level of curation. In terms of in between the boxes, so passes attempted, 96th percentile. Okay, I said it was high. It is mainly short passing game. That's fine. Pass completion, 79%, which is 67th percentile. A little bit low, but then that's probably in taking risks. Okay, taking some risks in his passing. Progressive passes, 99th percentile. Again, feeds into the top one there a little bit. So that's 9 progressive passes per 90. That's exceptional, really. Progressive carry, so he carries the ball as well, 79th percentile, so that's 4.7 a game. That's not just a carry, that's a progressive carry. So that's moving the ball 20% near a goal. Does it just sort of 5 a game? Take ons, I said that was a high stat, dropped off this season. Per 90, 2.8, so it's 93 percentile for take ons. Touches in the 20 box, 87 percentile, so 6.6. So that's not in the high echelons of Mo, but that's in the next echelon down. 87 percentile, that's still pretty good. This is a surprise one for me. I would expect him to be in a position to receive the ball higher, but he's not. So therefore, he's clearly happy to come in, bring it, play, either carry it and play progressively, or play the pass and play progressively. So that's something. So it might not be a Diaz type left winger if we were operating in there, who likes to definitely receive, go in there. Although Diaz can carry as well. It might not be a Mo. It'd be something coming in and carrying it for us between the boxes. Okay. Then obviously with that amount of creative output, there will be there is some downside. Defensively, I said his area was well low, 0.22, so that is 15th percentile for the wingers. Clearances, again, I'm not that fussed about that. That's 19th percentile. I'm be more concerned for a forward player that can put blocks or interceptions in. So 2nd percentile blocks, which means he doesn't really get in the way of passing lanes. Interception means he's not getting in there to make an interception. 36th percentile, although that is his best defensive stat. The tackles, 13th percentile. So, let's be frank, he's not going to give you a lot defensively, and it might require a lot of work to get him on the page. Our system off the ball relies on every component doing their job, and he will have to learn that. And as much as Núñez took probably 2 years to get anywhere near the level of pressing and defensive ability needed, I'm not saying he would take that long, but it would be he would need some work on that. Now, if we compare him to, I've got Dom in here as the 10. So Dom is in red, Kirkes is in blue. Kirkes pretty much dominates Dom in the 10 position, that is, apart from, then I'll give you no shocks, the defensive side of it, all right, which Dom is outperforming him, and pass completion, Dom is a little bit higher. But if we then roll that dice a little bit, I'll see if I can get Cody, perhaps, if he shows up. No, he's not showing up for me. But so that is a player that you could potentially compare him to. Okay, and it would be there's certainly advantages from Kirkes coming in there. I'm just seeing if Cody shows up on Cody's, but it really does depend on where you want to play him. Okay, where are you thinking of bringing him in? Here he is with Cody. So AM versus AM again. Kirkes outperforming him attacking wise with Cody, but Cody off the ball again outperforming him. So yeah, he is a very he's two sides of a coin. He's one side of a coin, right? And I suppose it's whether or not you want that player, whether you could bring him in. I mean, you look at some of the past maps for Leon, he's in and around the right areas, which is what you'd expect if he's going to be that player for him. His involvement, because he's a creative fulcrum for him, he's getting a touch or a pass sometimes 2-3 times, even 5 times a minute. So he's heavily involved for Leon. I mean, this is the way it always is in the league. Low, sort of up to about 10 pass chains, which some of that will be dominated by the way they play, right? So it's not like their PSG, is it? So yeah, different. See, here he's involved in all of the boxes, which is what we want, which is what we want to see from a player. In terms of where he is, dual success, though, to be fair, in this game, 50%, which is low. But I mean, that's considering some of the stats we just looked at, you'd expect that to be horrendous, right? So yeah, it's not too bad. 20% of the team's EPV, though, that's quite something. That is like Mo. Typically, our guys at the moment, if you look, those who will watch UP later or whatever else, Costas, Mac were the highest at the weekend for us, right? So to have a forward player do that would be something different for us. Mo can get up to those levels, but you don't generally see it anywhere else in that front four, should we say? He's on he has about 10% of the team's possession. He's operating at 10th position for them. Okay, so some interesting bits in terms of his wagon wheel. He's bang on average for all the metrics, but it's not a bad thing. It's just not underperforming, which is nice. And threat creation, does he stop anything coming the other way? Actually, he did in this game. He stopped 100%, but only faced 0.1, so that's minimal. Really, to be honest with you. It's like not a lot to write home about. But in the areas he's in, there's a big 15 there, which just shows you that's how much 15 and 5. So that's 20% of Leon's EPV in the heat map is in the area that he would have operated, which shows you that he is clearly the fulcrum of their attack. Right, it goes through him. Very, very impressive. That off the ball, not gonna lie to you, 7%. I mean, that's not a lot to write home about. Considering the wide players are doing sort of nearly 20% on their own. So yeah, it's not going to be a strong play. I mean, here in the second half, he's got 4% of defensive action. So yeah, it's clearly not something that he's going to generate. He scored in this game. And he was active in 2 distinct periods, the first 15 and then 60 to 75. So, yeah, there are some interesting bits in terms of the shots he took from zone 14 and out wide. So, yeah, I would suggest it really, for me, will come down to where do you want to play him. If you compare him with Dom, he clearly has some attacking output that is far superior to Dom's, right? I mean, there's no getting around the wagon wheel like that. For those who are listening on audio, it's very blue dominant on the attacking metrics, but defensively not. I mean, if we then looked at him as a midfielder, Dom comes up, don't get me wrong, comes up level, and Dom does put out performance on the defensive blocks. And they're actually very similar if you look at it on a midfielder scale. But that would suggest he's playing more in a 3, which we know Kirkes doesn't really do. He plays in the high advanced area. So yeah, I think it really is going to be where do you see him playing, even as a midfielder, that performs a little bit. But he clearly has some upside in terms of attacking wise. It's just if you're playing him in the AM for us, we ask our AM to do a lot of defensive work, which, as you see, he doesn't match up to Dom, right? So that's your trade. Does he give you more output than Dom attacking wise in the AM? For sure, 100%, right? But the flip side to that is he won't do any of that work or very limited amount of work that Dom does to help out the defense. So that's your trade-off. What do you want? And just the final piece, because we have got it available, because Mark clearly spends a lot of time working on these. His XT. So I've spoken a lot in Discord and viewers if you want to go and read that, but is how do you solve the conundrum of losing 0.3 XT from Trent?
Yeah.
Well, your boy here has 0.31. Now, Ligue 1, I'm not going to try and pronounce it in French, to the UK, there is a metric comparison. I think you have to bring it down by about 0.93 or something like that. But I've looked it up. So there is a downgrade, but that is still significantly more than if we look at Dom, who is at 0.11 in that same area. Yeah. So there's a 20% difference in terms of threat creation between those two. And actually, to be fair, Mack is at 0.12 and Grav is at 0.11. So our three midfielders, if you were putting him in that pigeonhole, he's better than Diaz is 0.14, and I think Cody is 0.113 in terms of threat. So he is an upgrade. There is no doubt about that in terms of attacking output. It's just whether or not you can afford to have that player in your team, knowing that defensively you're probably not going to get what you need out of it for the period of time, and you might learn it, but from the off, he won't give you that.
This is fascinating. There's two things that really made me laugh about this more than anything. Number one was the fact you kept calling Rayan Cherki Kirkaz at times throughout that. I enjoyed that bit. But aside from that bit anyway, I can't remember in all the time that we've done this at all. Maybe you're going to correct me on this. I can't remember a player where the eye test bears this out from the games we've seen him as well, that is so strong, almost a FIFA player, creative, highlights, dribbler, almost like being controlled by in a games console, like from the attacking element, so much to like. And obviously, he did a gesture to the United fans the other day, which warmed me towards him as well. So, but that's a different conversation. But on the other side of this, just to be honest, you can't possibly countenance a team where Mo Salah and Rayan Cherki line up in the same team, and you say to the other 8 outfield players, you're going to have to run a fair bit today. It just doesn't really seem likely, does it, if we're honest?
No, it doesn't. And I think that's it, isn't it, really? It's okay carrying a player, but at the moment, to be fair, I mean, Mo works hard off the ball, but he doesn't do as much as he used to, right? But the team are kind of fairly happy to go, do you know what, it's Mo Salah. Like he's earned his stripes, right? He can press the ball back, but we don't really want him coming back to do the rest of the work. But a new boy coming in, and they're like, hang on a minute, we've got to carry 2 of these. I'm not sure you would get that. And I think your midfield would turn from being, I think it's a nice blend of creation versus workmanlike at the moment. I think it would have to turn into I was chatting earlier about a Klopp style midfield, which was very workmanlike. They were technical, but generally, fundamentally speaking, they were industrious. They won the ball back and gave it to the other players, right? And I think if you were going to even attempt to have Cherki and Mo in the same team, your midfield would just have to turn into that. And I think you could end up in a very similar situation to Madrid have found themselves at this year, where you had Mbappe in, you had Bellingham, you have Vinicius Jr., all don't really want to be doing the amount of defensive work that you need. You try and carry 2.5 players. And even with the elite players that Madrid have, they haven't been able to do.
Yeah, this is a popular one with some people. It seems a fashionable side, and I get it. Skillful, creative, there's zero doubt about that. It's a talented player, only a fool would say different. But from what you see on the eye, the lack of the defensive stats, not the quickest particularly as well. It just seems, even for those that will be shouting about he could cover Salah. I just don't see it. So